Hi Amanda, it's Fancy, and I went through the post and um, tried to understand that we were all on the same page. Um, so I understand that you want primarily water in here, and that's why you have pathways that are the same. So here you're gradating across pathways, here you're also gradating across pathways, but you've chosen to keep these two pathways the same and these the same because you're trying to affect or create the effect of water. So, I mean, I think that you've worked hard to create equal value contrast so that you get a sense that these are moving across pathways and changing value evenly. So, equal value contrast, that's what you're trying to get. And I think you've cleaned up your design a lot. There's figure ground ambiguity where there wasn't when you started. You've kind of standardize the sizes of the different shapes. So I mean, it is a pattern, and that's okay for this particular project. So that kind of ensures that you have a similarity of shapes involved in your design. So that's working. You've got these, what you call these visual pathways moving across, creating kind of a continuation across the panels. Um, so you've got your gradation, you've got, even though it's subtle, um, make sure that you explain that your gradations are subtle. You don't have too high of a value contrast in your palette. Um, Excuse me, I don't mean to yawn. Um, you can talk about points of emphasis, similarity, use the similarity to unify the design. Um, with those other arrows, what I was talking about, I think I had one pointing down this way and one pointing down this way, is just trying to break the symmetry up just a bit, maybe taking this shape and moving it, or maybe just moving it up off the picture plane. Of course, you will have a gap here, so I mean, maybe you want to shift everything. Oops, sorry. Basically, I'm just trying to break up the symmetry of this piece a little bit and give it a little bit more visual interest than it has. By shifting this one down and shifting this one up. Of course, that means these change, and perhaps you don't want to do that at the slate point. But I still would do immediately a file, save as, and see if you can gradate within these pathways to add more visual interest. There's a little bit of gradation here because it starts off here and gets a little bit darker. I can see that. But why not try, your use of vanishing boundaries and try, gradating. So maybe from here it moves to slightly lighter purples through chromatic grays. That way you could build in some more water too. Why not try to get some visual pathways that gradate within the pathway instead of across the pathway as you have, and try to intermingle some of those colors from your perceptual opposites palette. Why not try gradating from one perceptual opposite to the other? So here you start out with green in a primarily purple area, and you gradate through to purple. And you can practice with. I mean, it would be perhaps a beautiful gradation to help move the eye across and to add additional visual interest. So it's not going to take you long to try that. So immediately do a file, save as, so that you have this saved and you're not going to change anything about it. And then try a second version where you are gradating. I think that could, and make sure that you're grading smoothly, and with that very soft palette that you have with soft value contrast, it should be a piece of cake. So let's scroll up and look at your palette. Again, you do have very soft gradations, very soft value contrast. There are slight changes as you move through the palette from one end to the other. Um, I don't know how you feel about these two colors. They seem to be grouping a bit, as do these two purples for sure. Maybe these purples, the purples seem to be grouping a bit more. You could get a little bit more contrast in there. I'm trying to tip my monitor at a different angle just to see if I'm seeing what you see. But again, I hope you do test it out because your printout could be completely different. These could be, I'm guessing these might start to blend together more in your printout than they actually do on screen. I mean, they're so close on the screen that they might be even grouping more as you print it out. So I will leave that up to you. I will try to check the forum in the morning and see how you're doing well before we meet at 6:30, I believe. Okay. Actually, I need to check and see what time we are actually meeting because we meet on Wednesday and then we meet again on Thursday. So let me see what section you're in.